In rock history, a handful of guitarists always steal the headlines. Hendrix, Clapton, Page, for example. But what about the ones who quietly broke barriers and inspired generations of rock, all without getting the same recognition? Today, we're shining a light on 10 underrated masters of the guitar. Some of them topped charts, others stirred up rumors, but each one defined a new sound or technique that shaped modern music. Get ready to hear their stories and maybe find your new favorite artist. Jeff Beck never joined a chart-topping band, yet his fingerprints are all over modern rock. Instead of chasing radio hits, he explored an experimental path, blending blues, rock, and jazz. Critics say he could make a guitar speak through whammy bar mastery, volume swells, and fingerstyle playing. Controversy surrounded his early exit from the Yardbirds, leaving some fans puzzled about his commercial choices. Still, Beck followed his own vision, and that's what made him a legend. Tracks like "'Cause We've Ended as Lovers" show his raw, vocal-like tone that cuts straight to the heart. His willingness to break tradition paved the way for countless musicians. In the end, Jeff Beck's story proves that deep passion can mean more than topping the charts. But he wasn't the only understated genius who reshaped rock. Let's move on to another quiet powerhouse. Mick Ronson is often remembered as David Bowie's right-hand man during the Ziggy Stardust era. Behind Bowie's theatrical performances was Ronson's unmistakable guitar style. Fans whisper about possible tensions that kept him from wider acclaim, but solos in songs like Moonage Daydream speak for themselves. His melodic yet forceful approach gave Bowie's music an extra spark, and his knack for arrangements hinted at a true studio wizard. He seemed content to let Bowie bask in the limelight, and critics say that modesty kept him from stepping forward. Still, Ronson's chord choices and soaring leads influenced a wave of glam and rock artists. Even if he never craved fame, his contribution echoes in every riff that balances artistry with raw energy. While Ronson stood in Bowie's shadow, the next guitarist stepped into a legendary band's spotlight with his own groundbreaking style. Steve Hackett pioneered two-handed tapping years before it became a signature of 80's guitar heroes. During the early Genesis days, he infused progressive rock with delicate orchestral layers and classical fingerstyle passages. Rumors suggest tensions over creative control led to his eventual exit, but hear his solo on Firth of Fifth, and you'll sense the depth of his artistry, each note drenched in lyrical emotion. Hackett also made volume swell effects part of his signature sound, giving his guitar an almost violin-like tone. While Eddie Van Halen popularized tapping, Hackett laid the groundwork, often without the same spotlight. Prog fans still salute him as a silent architect of modern guitar technique, and his solo catalog proves he never stopped evolving. Genius like Hackett's often stays under the radar. The next guitarist, however, stunned crowds with sheer speed at one of rock's biggest festivals. Alvin Lee rocked Woodstock '69 with 10 years after, blazing through "I'm Going Home" at breakneck speed. That jaw-dropping set should have cemented him as a rock icon, but major publications often overlooked his work. Critics labeled him all speed and no soul, yet deeper cuts reveal a player who could slow down for bluesy, heartfelt solos. Lee also had a rockabilly streak, pulling wild stunts like detuning mid-solo without missing a note. Rolling Stone's decision to exclude him from their 100 Greatest Guitarists list sparked talk of bias. Despite the lack of mainstream accolades, those who saw him live witnessed technical skill and honest passion. Even in the background, Alvin Lee shone brightly for fans who looked past hype. If you love discovering hidden guitar legends, consider subscribing so you don't miss more. Next up, an Irish axeman whose soulful tone left legends in awe. Gary Moore was a force across blues, rock, and even metal, yet he stayed under the radar in the US for most of his career. Once part of Thin Lizzy, he blended fiery solos with heartfelt melodies on songs like Still Got the Blues. Rumor has it labels never quite knew how to market his broad style. Fans who gave him a chance, however, found an emotional intensity that B.B. King himself praised. On stage, Moore's expressive playing was legendary, each note loaded with raw feeling. He might not have been a household name in America, but his influence is crystal clear in modern guitarists who balance technique with soul. His journey proves that true artistry doesn't need the biggest stage. Sometimes it just needs the right ears. But how about those who toiled for years in an iconic group overshadowed by a flamboyant frontman? Let's look at one next. For decades, Martin Barre was the underappreciated guitar force behind Jethro Tull. While Ian Anderson's flute and stage presence dominated, Barre quietly cranked out riffs and solos that defined the band's heavier edge. Songs like Aqualung and Locomotive Breath owe much of their grit to his melodic sense. Fans still debate whether he got enough credit for shaping those classics. Barre rarely spoke publicly about songwriting snubs, but industry insiders believe he brought a crucial balance to Tull's folk rock approach. Even critics who weren't big on Jethro Tull admitted Barre's skill was undeniable. After leaving the band, his solo career showcased a musician unafraid to explore new directions. His story reminds us that sometimes you don't need to hog the spotlight to make a lasting mark. The next guitarist proved geography can be a barrier to fame, but sheer talent never goes unnoticed among true fans. Dutch guitarist Jan Akkerman dazzled prog and rock audiences with Focus, most famously on Hocus Pocus. One minute he'd fingerpick a delicate classical motif, the next he'd launch into a driving rock solo. Many believe his lack of worldwide acclaim came from being outside the US and UK scenes. Still, among guitar aficionados, Ackerman's name stands for fearless genre hopping and polished technique. He combined jazz improvisation with rock intensity, leaving record executives unsure how to label him. Ackerman chose to chase creativity over chasing trends, earning respect from peers and fans alike. Even if mainstream fame never fully arrived, he influenced the way guitarists approach dynamic and versatile playing. His path shows that a true artist needs only a guitar, a stage, and an unwavering commitment to exploring new sounds. Next, we'll see how one guitarist replaced rock icons yet stayed underrated. Buckle up for a story of both triumph and tragedy. Tommy Bolin stepped into big shoes, replacing Ritchie Blackmore in Deep Purple and Joe Walsh in the James Gang. Despite these high-profile gigs, he never grabbed the recognition he deserved. His solo album Teaser showed off a fusion of funk, Latin grooves, and hard rock that felt ahead of its time. Industry pressures allegedly pushed him toward mainstream hits, but Bolin valued creativity over commercial formulas. On stage, his energy was infectious, capturing a spirit of endless musical exploration. Tragically, he OD'd at just 25, cutting short a career that seemed poised to reshape guitar-driven rock. Some fans say the overshadowing continued after his death, as focus remained on the legends he replaced. For those who dive into his recordings though, Tommy Bolin stands out as a free-spirited innovator, unafraid to push boundaries. From filling big shoes to stepping into the spotlight, our next guitarist juggled frontman duties and virtuoso playing with equal flair. Rick Emmett carried the Canadian trio Triumph on vocals, songwriting, and intricate guitar work. Though Triumph achieved chart success, some wrote them off as generic arena rock, missing Emmett's sophisticated musicianship. He could shred when needed, but also bring in acoustic and classical elements, drawing on a broad musical education. Industry observers suspect creative differences kept Triumph from soaring to global superstar status. Even so, they built a loyal audience that recognized Emmett's gift for melody and technical skill. Later, he explored solo projects, blending jazz, rock, and introspective lyrics. Further proof of his versatile talent. Health issues slowed him down, but he never lost his passion for music. In a world of oversized rock egos, Emmett stands out for his humility and unwavering dedication to the craft. Finally, let's meet the world's greatest unknown guitarist, whose dazzling skill never fit into the mainstream mold. Danny Gatton earned the nickname the world's greatest unknown guitarist for good reason. His blistering speed and precision spanned country, jazz, blues, and rockabilly in a way that stunned everyone who heard him play. Major labels sought to polish him for mass appeal, but Gatton stayed true to his craft, carving out a niche on his own terms. His album The Humbler remains a must-hear for those craving virtuosic fretwork that still feels human and heartfelt. Tragically, he took his own life in 1994, leaving fans to wonder how far his career could have gone under different circumstances. Despite limited commercial success, his artistry and technical genius continue to captivate guitar enthusiasts worldwide. Gatton's story proves that genuine innovation can blossom off the beaten path, recognized and cherished by those willing to seek it out. So, do these guitarists deserve a spot among the so-called greatest? After hearing their stories, you might see guitar music in a new light. If you discovered a favorite, share this video, leave a comment, and tell me who you think is the most underrated. And if you want more deep dives into rock's hidden gems, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stick around. There's plenty more to uncover.